Hello everyone, Jason from Truth Behind the Magic here once again. Big news out of Disney. I would say today, technically it was yesterday, but just getting around to doing this video now. I don't expect this to be a very long video, but major news. I'm sure many of you have heard the announcements that they made in regards to the Muppets. Some good, some bad, and I just kind of want to give my initial thoughts on that. If you're new here, this won't really matter to you, but you probably noticed that I'm using a new camera. I don't have a new official video camera yet, but I'm using my phone for the time being because I realize it actually has a much better camera than the GoPro I was using, so it's good for now. It actually looks very good, but anyway, that aside, I will just get into the news here. First of all, if you haven't heard, it's pretty simple. A couple of big things have happened. Well, I guess it's not simple in the terms of like the pipeline of how everything occurred, but basically at D23, they announced that a Monsters, Inc. land was coming to Hollywood Studios. Very unexpected. I don't think anyone saw that coming, but immediately chatter started about where they thought this was going to go. I believe in the video that I made about the D23 Expo, I had mentioned the possibility of the animation courtyard back in that area, some people were saying, which I immediately thought that's not big enough. But I did think the other possibility was them going out into the backlot kind of area a bit. Maybe not literally where the backlot used to be, but some of it may have been a part of that, the old backlot tour. But what is essentially the backlot now, which has kind of office buildings, which, yes, some of them are used. I used to work in that park. Not that that's Disney, if you're watching, this isn't insider knowledge saying that there's offices behind the park, but don't sue me for that. But some of them, some major buildings back there are not utilized as much as you would think. So I thought maybe they were gonna go back into that area, kind of maybe around Toy Story Land or somewhere in between Toy Story Land and like where Rodeo Roundup Barbecue is now, maybe behind there. That was like the other thought that people had. But when people were saying that, that was another one where I said this probably won't happen either, because like I said, those buildings are used, pretty much all of them to some extent. But yeah, so of course the third option that everyone was worried about was Muppet Courtyard, and I unfortunately did suspect that, and that is what we have seen come to pass. So I'm a huge Muppet fan, huge MuppetVision 3D fan, so hearing that it's going, it definitely does not make me happy. It honestly annoys me that they played their hand so perfectly by announcing this at the exact same time as the second announcement that will be talked about in the video. But they definitely did it on purpose because they knew Muppet fans would be up in arms about this. But MuppetVision, I mean, of course it wasn't the most up-to-date attraction, probably wasn't the most popular thing out there. I mean, I know that for a fact. But it's not like people didn't go to it. It certainly could eat the crowds up well. In fact, the last time I went there, which would have been in summer, late summer of 2023, was probably the busiest I've ever seen it. So people definitely did still love that attraction. I think the bigger issue was that the area behind it, which did used to be a part of the backlot, was not really being utilized anymore for the most part. The Muppet shop back there was closed as far as I know. There used to be a Christmas shop. It was closed. It was pretty much just a big open area. So I think, unfortunately, MuppetVision was a side effect of that area. It wasn't really MuppetVision's fault necessarily, but it's just such a big area back there. And in fact, I have the picture on my second monitor here, that's why I keep looking back, but looking at the newly released concept art, if you look at it on the Disney Park blog, that is the main area they're using, is back behind MuppetVision 3D. MuppetVision 3D is like a very small part of this land, to be honest, but yeah, definitely sad to see that. That is one that I will try to get back down there for sure to go see. And it's just, I think it's unfortunate. Honestly, I'm excited for the Monsters Inc. land. I think that was the biggest surprise of the expo, but not at the cost of MuppetVision 3D, honestly. And I know there will be people out there that are like, oh, this old man, he's just stuck in his ways. He doesn't want something better to be put there. I mean, maybe that's true to an extent, but I just think I honestly would have rather the Muppets stayed there. I think Disney has kind of mishandled the Muppets since they've owned them, especially in recent years. Although in the last few years, they've done them justice. I think Muppet Mayhem was probably the best Muppet production out there, at least in terms of a TV show, barring maybe the original actual Muppet show. But that was very good. So they had kind of started to increase the quality of Muppet content. And I guess that does segue perfectly into the second story, which is, of course, Rock and Roller Coaster. I would say shockingly, I guess it is kind of shocking that they officially announced it, but being rethemed from Aerosmith to Muppet Mayhem, which I think is a phenomenal decision, and that's why I said I was kind of annoyed that they played this so perfectly, because I can't help but not be that angry, because they did announce another product that is something that a lot of people wanted, and is something that I definitely very much wanted. And it's not that I don't like Aerosmith. I don't listen to them a ton, but I do typically listen to like 60s through 80s music. And after the closure of Splash Mountain, that became my favorite attraction, I think, at Disney. That could change day by day, honestly, but I think overall it pretty much was my favorite, because I liked that it was a dark coaster. It was fast, but not like insanely out there in terms of the thrill. And I love music, as I'm sure you can see back here. I have the drum set back there. I have the studio monitors. There's some multiple guitars and a bass guitar that you can't see over there. There's a keyboard right here. So I loved that ride. It was very much in my wheelhouse. And in fact, I have some show and tell here, because I have the 20th anniversary Rock and Roller Coaster drumsticks, which I got on my Disney College program in 2019. So that's definitely one of the cooler souvenirs I have. But no, I'm, like I said, nothing against Aerosmith, but I'm completely fine with a Muppet product going in there. I think if Muppet Mayhem hadn't been such a big hit, they probably wouldn't have done it. This was something that had been theorized for quite a while. Even before the show, people were suggesting that they should put some Muppet content in there. But then once the show came out, that's when it really became like, oh, they might actually do this. People started to... It kind of went from just speculation to like actual rumors of people saying they had insider information or whatever that this was going to happen. But yeah, I'm very excited about that. Hopefully it won't be too long of a downtime. Although I will say, with how Hollywood Studios is now, after the introduction of Toy Story Land and, of course, Galaxy's Edge, among other things, they can afford to lose a ride for a while. That is for sure. It wouldn't be the best thing to have that ride closed for a year. But if it had to happen, then that park can survive. I've seen much worse in other parks as far as closures. I worked at Toy Story Mania, and that ride hasn't had an extended closure since it opened, I don't think. We used to talk about that, but yeah, I think it's very exciting. I do think that's justice for the Muppets to an extent. I think it's a real shame that they're having to close something that was the last official project that Jim Henson ever worked on. I think it really was a piece of history. And there probably will be people, I don't know if they will literally chain themselves to the building, but it will be very close to that. They might chain themselves to the animatronics or something. And I do have a quote here from the official statement from the Jim Henson Company. And I thought it was interesting because they did a long paragraph about how it was Jim Henson's last project and how they loved it and all that stuff and how it was cutting edge. But at the end, they said, interestingly, we look forward to MuppetVision 3D's next act. So maybe this isn't completely the end. Maybe there is a possibility that we see something else. I mean, I doubt they would devote a full-time show in another part to this just from the amount of work that they would need to do to make an entire show again. And they certainly wouldn't just place it somewhere else in its current state because it's tied to that building. But maybe there is more Muppet content coming. Maybe that at least means that. I think there is a lot more that Disney could do with the Muppets. And I hope that the Rock and Roller Coaster retheme is just the beginning of that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I need to see when the actual closing date is for this because I have to get back down there to see it one more time. I'm going to assume it'll probably be later 2025, but I could be wrong about that. They might shock everyone and start work on the Monsters, Inc. land immediately. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Just a very quick video, quick update. If you're down there right now, definitely make an effort to go see that show. If you want to go see it one more time, get those plans going quick, because you never know when they might decide to pull the plug. I haven't seen an official date yet, so hopefully we will get one. But yeah, it'll be interesting. All this D23 stuff, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with it, because some of it really has potential. Some of it has the risk of being a swing and a miss, per se, but hopefully it'll all be good. With Epic Universe opening, they've got to do a lot quick right now. I do wonder if they will announce a 5th park within the next 5 years. I think the success of Epic Universe will be the determining factor of that. If it is just utterly successful and every attraction is like, this is premiere, this is the best we've ever seen, the Harry Potter land is great, then I think I mean, Disney's kind of been on the back foot for years now, and I think I talked about that in one of my previous videos, where Universal has been making gains, and Disney has just never had a true response. Galaxy's Edge was great and all, but it's just nothing has ever felt like a true response to, like, especially Diagon Alley, at least in my opinion. And with a whole new park opening, a whole new park. But I really think Disney, and I know I've said this probably in 2 or 3 videos, they're gonna have to announce a 5th gate, a 5th park at some point. You have the land. I know they're kind of worried about doing it because there's so much that goes into that. They have to worry about hiring the tens of thousands of people, well, probably not tens of thousands, but maybe 10,000 to work that one park. But it'll have to happen eventually. And like I said, Universal has made massive gains. Opening a 3rd park is a massive deal. I think really the only thing they don't have going for them right now is they don't have the land to make, 10 more resorts. Disney has always had that upper advantage. But other than that, Disney's going to have to make a response, and we'll see. Hopefully this Monsters, Inc. land goes well. Hopefully they can do some more to appease the angry Muppet fans. But, yeah, that'll pretty much do it. My next video, if you're a regular watcher and you're seeing this when it comes out, should be an overview of the attractions role on the Disney College program, so keep an eye out for that. But other than that, I will see you next time.